Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Letty and this is Bugs Books, where we talk about all things reading, specifically Christian fiction. In this video I wanted to talk to you guys about book tracker websites and apps. I'm a Goodreads girl. I use Goodreads to track my reading. I do the yearly reading goal, however many books you want to do, and I put them into Goodreads and I write some reviews. I don't write reviews on all of my books, although that's something I'm trying to do better at this year. I've made it a little goal to write at least a short review on all the books that I read this year on Goodreads. So I'm going to be having more reviews on Goodreads this year. That is something. But I have always thought that Goodreads was pretty much the only website like that. I didn't really know that there were other websites and apps that did that sort of thing until yesterday, when something popped up on my For You page on YouTube and was like, look at this, and I went down a rabbit hole learning about different book tracking apps and websites. So I wanted to let you guys know that this year I am also going to be doing Storygraph and Fable. I'm still going to be doing Goodreads. I'm going to be doing all three of them this year, trying to keep up with all three of them, just because I want to expand my horizons a little bit on these book tracking apps and see what's the deal with these new ones. And I went down the rabbit hole on YouTube listening to people's reviews of these apps yesterday, and there are some features that I'm really excited about with Storygraph and Fable that I wanted to go over with you guys a little bit. So with Storygraph, they have this feature for buddy reads, and it's really interesting because you can have people join a buddy read, and it doesn't have to be just one other person. It can be like a group of people. And the thing is that you can have journal entries of your thoughts as you read it, and put what page or what chapter you're on, and then it doesn't show those comments to the other readers until they get to that point. So for example, if one buddy who was reading faster than the other one, and they were like, oh wow, in chapter 10, I can't believe this happened, this is how I felt when I was reading it, that comment is going to be hidden until the second buddy gets to chapter 10, and then it becomes clear and they can see that comment so they can have a discussion about it, which I think is a really cool feature. And I kind of want to try it with you guys. If you guys are on Storygraph, I'd love to do a buddy read through Storygraph this year. I've never done a buddy read, so I'm not really sure all the logistics that would go into it yet. So it's probably not going to be something that we do early in the year, because I have to spend some time on these apps and try to figure it out how that works. But yeah, I think it would be really fun, and so let me know if you guys are interested in that. We can pick a book and we can have a little chat about it as we read it. That'd be super fun. The other thing that's I think is super fun about Storygraphs is that Goodreads does your end of the year wrap up and gives you stats at the end of the year, but Storygraph does this monthly. So every month you can see the charts of what genres you were most interested in, how many books you read that month, how many pages you read that month, what your author ratio and stuff is. And so I think that's really fun to have monthly wrap-ups like that. And I also think that their stats and wrap-ups are a little more detailed than Goodreads. When I was just looking through it yesterday, it seems like they're looking at what genres you're reading most. They're looking at and I don't remember if this was on Storygraphs or Fables, but the mood and pacing of your novels, I think this is actually on Fables, but they look at the novels you're reading, and they can tell you, you read really fast-paced novels, or you're mostly reading, slow-paced or things like that. And they'll tell you most of your novels are more emotional, most of them are more lighthearted. I think that's really cool. They tell you what authors you're reading more than others, how long the books you usually read are. You read more books that are, over this many pages or whatever. And I think that'll be really cool to see some more detailed stats on my reading. And then you can also create different files to track your TBR on Storygraphs. So for example, I feel sometimes I start a new book by an author and I'm yeah, I want to finish this series, and if I don't finish it right then, I might like if I have other books that I need to get to, then I might forget about it for a while. So to be able to have like a file of like series that I want to finish might be kind of helpful. I don't know. Like Goodreads, Storygraph has giveaways, so that's also something that's interesting. And Storygraph allows your star ratings to get a little more detailed. Like they allow quarter and half ratings, which is interesting. I've always just given full star ratings simply because that's what Goodreads does. But I think I would like to be able to do like quarter and half star ratings because sometimes, you know, a book just falls in between. So that's Storygraph. And then we have Fable, which, like Storygraph, has a lot more detailed stats to give you. Like I said, I think it's Fable that does, like, it tells you what mood most of your books are. It tells you what pace they are and things like that, which I think is really interesting, and I'm kind of excited to see. They also have a Buddy Reads feature, and I'm not sure quite how it's different from the Storygraphs, but it's something to look into. They have book clubs that you can join, which is really interesting because I was actually kind of hoping to join a book club in 2025, but I wasn't sure where to start. And I looked through their book clubs last night when I set up my account, and I didn't see something that was like explicitly Christian fiction, which I would prefer because I want to make sure that the content is at least clean, but also kind of uplifting. So maybe I'll have to start one on there. I don't know. That might be a project for the future of 2025. We'll see. Let me know if you'd be interested in that. Another thing about Fable is that it allows DNF options. You know, on Goodreads, you can't really say when you DNF a book, which is why I don't say what I'm currently reading on Goodreads. I only enter it onto Goodreads after I finish it, because I'll only enter it if I finish it. Whereas on Fable, you can track the books you DNF as well, because that is an option. So I think that's interesting and will allow for some more accurate reading tracking. It also tracks what you're reading and gives you recommendations based on your reading, which I think should be interesting. I'd like to know what they give me after I spend a little more time on there. And like Storygraph, it lets you get a little more specific about your star ratings. It only does half stars rather than quarter stars, but still I think that'll be helpful. So those are just a few things that I'm interested in Storygraph and Fable for. They seem to have some more features than Goodreads. And so yeah, I'm excited to check them out and to work with them this year and see if I like them. So I will kind of let you guys know as the year goes on how that is going, and if I like these. Of course, I'm still going to stay with Goodreads because it's the classic, it's the one everybody's on. But yeah, I'm excited to do these ones too and to try something new. And I want to know if you guys are on Fable and Storygraphs, and if you are, I will link my pages down below so we can become friends on there. And I'd also say if you're interested in doing a buddy read or a book club on one of them with me, please let me know. I think it'd be really fun and I'd like to try it at some point this year. And yeah, if it interests you, please let me know in the comments so that I know somebody would be willing to do it with me. Excuse me. I need to get over this cough. I've had it for like a month. But yes, so let me know what reading trackers you use, if you're on Storygraph and Fable, and if you want to be my friend on there, and if you want to do a buddy read on there. I'd love to hear from you. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video.